Batgirl's donezo? She's gone. She's out. Next year, Batgirl's supposed to come out. And, yeah, rumorville has it that it's not going to come out. Now, I have a bunch of ideas as to why. So, supposedly, it's the budget. And they said they're not going to release it on streaming or theaters because it went up to, what, 90 million around there? And I think it could be that. It could be that. But I also see other problems with it. One, controversies. It was riddled with controversies coming up. One, because of her costume. And that, I don't blame the studio. It was a lot of people saying, we want comic-accurate costumes. And they keep saying that. So they gave him a comic-accurate costume, and they weren't having it. Because they're like, oh, it looks like Party City. And I'm like, you were whining about that. So that's kind of public's fault. But they could have did a better job just not make it as comic-accurate and just make it more realistic. Like, look at the Batman's costume. The Batman's costume isn't some comic-accurate costume, but it kicks ass. It's my favorite costume he's ever had. Controversy number 2. Ezra Miller stuff. Does that play a role in this? I don't know to what degree. But if he was in it in any capacity, obviously, he's a cult-leading lunatic. And 4, the identity politics thing. So I understand that James Gordon is black in Matt Reeves' Batman. I think Jeffrey Wright did a fantastic job. I don't feel like that movie did it for woke reasons. I really feel like it was just the actor. This movie, on the other hand, very much did it for identity politics reasons. They kind of bragged about it. They fought against the internet. The internet was not having it, this black Batgirl, because it really comes off in the marketing and when you pat yourself on the back for doing it. Why can't they just make someone like Sophia Lillis Barbara Gordon? With her, she's an adorable girl. She's dorky. She fits Barbara Gordon. She very much is to a T what I would envision for Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. You know? Especially when you already had J.K. Simmons as Gordon. He's white. So this isn't Matt Reeves' universe, it's that universe. So to me, instead of lifting brown characters off the pages in comics, they tend to just want to race swap people. Like with Superman, they want to make Clark Kent black. When they have Val Zod's Superman in the comics that could be brought to the big screen. Michael B. Jordan said this. He was like, why am I going to play a black Clark Kent? I'd rather just make this Superman that already exists. You know, I'm glad you're doing it with like Blue Beetle. I'm like, good. There are brown characters. Just make them into movies. You don't have to make white characters brown. I don't get it. So I think with these two controversies, on top of the fact that also a budget thing, I think that they were just, you know, they saw the smoke. And they're like, you know what, this is going to be a disaster. I'm sure there's other reasons. I'm sure they thought the movie sucked. I'm sure to some degree, they were looking at it and they're like, this is going to be corny. Because a Batgirl, they're not on a great streak with DC movies. You know, you have Wonder Woman that was good, Man of Steel that was debatable, Wonder Woman 2 that sucked, BVS that sucked, Aquaman that people enjoyed and I think is an atrocious movie, but Shazam, which is okay. Like, they're not on some winning streak of movies. So they probably looked at that and said, we need to stop making trash. And I can imagine, on top of the controversies that I think are going to hold back people watching it, with their identity politics BS and costume and things like that, I think they just pulled the plug, and I'm kind of glad. I want to see DC kind of restart. They really need to. You know, the Zaslav guys there, restart the DC projects. Because they're running to the ground. They have no canonical sense. They have no through line. They're not Marvel. Even Marvel's losing his luster. So, restart.